This monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety, please remain behind the yellow line on the platform or behind the gates once you disembark the monorail.
Good evening, everyone. It is April 2nd, 2026, 6:30 p.m. That means it's time for the Monorail Report. Hope you all had a good April Fool's Day yesterday. I'm sure many of you saw all sorts of stuff. Tower of Terror is closing for something else, and I'm trying to think of some of the other weird ones that I saw. But listen, it's April Fool's. Always make sure to check your sources and take everything that you see on April 1st with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. Just be aware. So we have actual news. So let's cover some of the actual news. So that's a lot of scaffolding, folks. Monstropolis is getting a lot of work right now. You've got a lot of scaffolding up there. You see the old Muppet Vision 3D Theater, which is going to change into the Glob Theater. So plenty of work there being done. If you look, we had pictures, I believe, last week or the week before of this theater, and you could tell that they had skinned some of the brick facade off, but only in certain places. So that tells me that some of it is, or a lot of it actually, is going to be staying. The clock is still there. They have skinned around that, so it does appear that the clock is staying. You could also tell where they had taken off some of the brick for the marquee. So they have certainly kind of told us, where the marquee and where the Monsters Inc. Touches will be on that building. So you see the old restrooms and Rizzo's behind it. I'm going to miss Gonzo's Royal Flush, but I'm sure it's going to have some cool name, hopefully, as it turns into Monsters Land. Sierra says, this made me think of Save the Clock Tower. I did think of that when I saw them working on it, and we didn't know if they were going to keep the clock or whatever, and I thought of that. Like, that's the other park. And then here towards the back, you see some work on the far buildings, the restaurant as well. So again, much work going on in Hollywood Studios to create the Monsters Inc. land, and then the animation courtyard is coming along very well also. I had this up there last week and I decided to keep it because there are even more offers that were announced this week. They dropped, and this was yesterday, so a lot of people, wondered, was some of this real? But this actually came from Disney. I did go to Disney's website, yesterday to see if it was real. It was indeed real. And so you have this summer, but starts April 2nd. You can book it starting April 2nd, and will be available June 21st to August 15th, 2-night minimum stay. A great deal for Disney Plus members. Folks, I'm telling you, you need to take advantage. If you're thinking of going to the parks, look into this. If you have already booked your trip, look. If you're with a travel agent, have them look into it. If you booked with Disney yourself, go back in and check, because you will get a discount. You'll get the discounted rate if your room falls into that. So do make sure to check that out, because it will save you quite a bit of money. $99 a night for All-Star Sports. I know I was just talking to Sharon Hecker. I didn't see if she was in here, but I was talking to Sharon Hecker, and her travel agent reached out to her when this deal came out and actually just rebooked her and saved her like $118 for her upcoming trip. So $99 for a value resort at All-Star Sports, $169 a night for Port Orleans. That is a great deal. That is Riverside with the standard location, which, look, Riverside is big, no question about it. But you do also get the fifth sleeper. So $169 a night to have 2 queen beds and the fifth sleeper, which would fit, a Finley size kid, something like that. Look, take advantage. I'm telling you right now. $249 a night for all Art of Animation. For the Cars Family Suite, $249. And there you're sleeping 2, 4, 6, 7 people. And then $279 a night for Saratoga Springs for a deluxe studio, and then $369 a night. You tell me how this is real. $369 a night for Animal Kingdom Lodge for Savannah View. Now, your mileage may vary, because this is not going to be the prices, because it's dynamic pricing, right? It's a hotel. So this is not going to be the pricing for July 4th and 5th. Let's just get that out of the way, right? It's not going to be for the weekends. This is going to be your midweek pricing. But certainly take advantage of it. Even if you were doing, say, a Tuesday to Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night are going to be low prices like this. And then the others might be a little bit higher. So make sure to take advantage of that. So there is also this one that dropped yesterday, and folks were thinking that this was an April Fool's prank. I did verify this one yesterday on my own on the Disney website. They have started an after 2 p.m. ticket for the summer, giving guests access to one park per afternoon or evening at a reduced price. So for a 2-day ticket, prices will start at $118. For the 3-day ticket, prices start at $116. So you're entering at 2 o'clock, right? And so we know that if you are there on a once a year, once every 5 years, once in a lifetime trip, you're probably going to rope drop. If you can take advantage of this, you can save some money. You can, because a lot of people will go, they'll rope drop, they'll leave in the afternoon and then go back to the park. So here, maybe you just switch it up. And instead of doing that, maybe you start with breakfast or brunch. Maybe you go to Chef Mickey's and for breakfast or brunch. Then you go back and you swim at your resort. Then you get to the park at 2 o'clock. So you could certainly save some money here, as low as $116 per day. It's one park per day, so there's no park hopping built in there. But if you're getting there at 2 o'clock, I would suggest not park hopping anyway. So that's not really a factor. And then it is for any of the 4 parks, but it's one park per day. So if you do 2-day tickets, you would have 4 days. And then you'd be able to do all 4 parks. Now, this one I'll leave in there because I showed this last week. This you do have the 4-park magic ticket, which would be $109 per day. So if you can take advantage of this, certainly, you can do one or the other. Obviously, you don't want to do both, but you could do one or the other. So this offer is still out there. Look, all I'm trying to do is take away the obstacle that price sometimes has to people getting to Disney, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of Disney, in case you didn't know. And I want people to enjoy the parks, and I want them to be able to go to the parks. And so if price is the issue, here's a way to kind of get around that. So Animal Kingdom is included. David's asking if Animal Kingdom is included. It is. You're right. That would be, maybe you're getting 5 hours if they're closing at 7. Maybe you're lucky and they close at 8, because sometimes they will stay open till 8 during the summer. But yeah, not that much to do at Animal Kingdom at this point. But it's coming. They're working on those. They're working on that. Hi, Timothy. I don't know why you think everybody is sick. I think we're okay. No, Sierra, good question. These are not Florida residents only. This is for anyone. Those ticket deals and resort deals were for anybody. So anyone can take advantage of that. You still have the free dining plan for kids for nights June 28th through October 3rd, and then the 19th through the 31st, and December 6th through the 21st. So book by April 30th for that deal. Free dining plan for the kids when you buy the adult version. I think Animal Kingdom is a great park. And if any of you saw Theme Park Giant doing SeaWorld yesterday, don't sleep on that park. He had like 800 people watching him over at SeaWorld. I haven't been to SeaWorld in 25 years. Yeah, 25 years since I've been to SeaWorld. There was some news about DVC. They are starting to enforce the commercial DVC point rental restriction. And so, hey, Garrett, good to see you. Thanks for checking in on Facebook over there. So what this means is that people that are buying DVC just to rent it out, so they are going to start getting letters and start getting, violations, which could have some ramifications to their contract. It's written in the contract, that there's certain things that you can do and that you can't do. So this is going to be put in place, and but there's a couple things that I want to mention here. This is not where, my friend Pamela and Jim, who are DVC members, DVC owners, they're not going, or Greg, USC Greg, who many of you know is a DVC member. He's not using all his points, so he's going to rent out his points. That's okay. That's okay. This is for commercial DVC rental points, where people are just buying the contract in order to just rent it out all the time and never use it for themselves, for their family. So that's going to be restricted. However, if you buy rental points from, say, David's DVC Rentals. I've never done that, but I know that's one of the main, probably the biggest point rental site out there. Those are okay, because the people that are doing that, it's kind of like Airbnb, where it's the owners of the points that are renting it out, but they're renting it out through David's website. That's fine. That's fine. This is just, you know, Mars Incorporated bought 2 DVC contracts and they're just going to rent them out and they're never going to use them for their family. That's what this is the crackdown on. So most of us won't see any issue from that. It's just really those commercial companies that are trying to do that. David says if you buy DVC, it should be family only. Just his opinion. However, I'm not sure from a legal standpoint that they can crack down on that. True, yeah. But I'm sure it does say in the contract, commercial. I'm sure there's some commercial restrictions there. So yeah, take advantage of those deals where you can if you plan on going this summer. Speaking of deals, let me switch to this screen here. So if you're a D23 member, or excuse me, a Disney Plus member, make sure to sign up for Disney Plus Perks. It's a separate website at perks.disneyplus.com. Sign up there. That part is free. And you get plenty of perks. As you can see here, I have 18 perks available. And there's all sorts of different stuff. So some of it's just, discounts. 30% from Adidas or Adidas, depending on how fancy you want to be. Here's 6 months of Dash Pass from DoorDash. Here's a discount from Funko. Free 3-month Kroger Boost membership. 6 months of Calm. 3 months of Clear Plus. So there's plenty of discounts there. Sometimes I was looking to see. Okay, so here you have the D23 Gold membership, complimentary. Sometimes they have some sweepstakes. I don't see any right now. Oh, no, there is one coming up. Yeah, that one. So here you can enter to win a chance to attend the Star Wars Mando and Grogu world premiere. Here's a chance to win tickets to WrestleMania. A chance to win tickets to the Toy Story 5 world premiere. So make sure to, if you're a Disney Plus member, to go on there and check that out. I'm sorry, you were looking for something and you found it. Okay. And here's some of the recent sweepstakes there, more premieres. There was one that I entered. I can't remember what it was for. But if you're a Disney Plus member, take advantage of this because you never know. While I have this browser open, let me also talk about one thing that would be helpful to a lot of you. So here we have David is going, well, he's live already. All right, well, very cool. Let's see. Yeah, David's live. He's doing Disney on Ice. I'm actually going to send you over to his stream as soon as we end here. So you guys will be able to check that out. So if you had someone coming up, let's say Disney with Sean, we know he's got his streak still going. If you click live, you see here it says notify me. This is how you're guaranteed to get notified. YouTube will actually send you the notification through the app and an email. So I'm going to do two things to help my creative friend out that I like to watch and to help me out. So I'm going to hit notify me. So now notifications are on. So now I'm guaranteed to get that. Now, I did notice something else that you all might know. We all talk about, make sure you hit the notification bell, blah, blah, blah. Recently, all my notifications changed and they went to personalized rather than all. Okay, so now I've got all hit. So that means I'm going to get the notifications. But if you want to guarantee that you're going to get that notification, make sure that you hit notify me on each of the individual streams, and then also give them a like before they start. That's going to help feed it out to YouTube and to more people that might like Disney content. So just thought I would throw that out there to all of you, because that does help the creators and it does help you get notified as well. Mark F., good to see you. Thank you for being here. Pyle said that's how he saw that I was live. There you go. Got that notification right away. All right, so I wanted to start a new segment because I'm in a lot of Facebook groups and I'm on Threads and Instagram and TikTok and Instagram. I see it mostly on Facebook and sometimes on Threads. People will have questions about, Disney, how to travel, all these type of things. So I thought I would throw up some random questions and answer them to try and help those folks and you, because you may have that same question and just not be asking it. So this section is going to be called Questions from the Platform. Platform because it's the monorail, and platform being social media platforms. So this first question says, I know this week is super busy. How's it looking for next week? Well, not much better. A lot of the country is still on spring break or going to spring break. So, for example, today was Finley's last day of school. Her county and a lot of counties here in North Carolina are doing spring break, from Good Friday through Easter week. So, yeah, parks is still going to be busy. Will they be as busy as they're going to be this weekend? No, because if you think about it, you have people that are ending their vacations this weekend. You have people that are starting their vacations this weekend. So, it's same thing with like President's Day weekend. So you have the culmination of two major spring breaks happening at the same time. This weekend, it's going to be busy. Anybody who's streaming, be prepared. If you're going to the parks, be prepared. It's gonna be busy. Yeah, David, I could do some dumb questions of the day. Yeah, I don't have any of those today, I don't think. But yeah, I see plenty of those. I am planning to go to Disney around the end of August, beginning of September, but I've heard it is hurricane season. Is anyone able to let me know about the weather? Okay. Now, I don't live in Florida, so some of my friends that live in Florida that are in chat, or if you're watching afterwards, you can certainly add to the conversation. My understanding is that hurricane season starts as early as like June and runs until October, right? It's the tropics. You're in Florida. I have gone in September. Our family went in September. We've gone in October. Could it be more rain? Yes. We actually drove through a hurricane to get to our vacation that we already had planned. If you can only, and this person says, I'm planning to go to Disney around the end of August, beginning of September. They probably already have it planned. Why? Work, school, just because. I mean, maybe that's the only time they can really do it. If that's the only time you can get to Disney, right? We've been there. We've been there through some crazy rain, but it's Florida for the most part. If it's a rainy season, now hurricane's a little different, that could last, a whole day or whatever. But if it's rainy season, if it's going to rain, it's going to rain in the afternoon typically, and then it's 2 hours or whatever, and then you're done. So go and eat during that time, or, Listen, a rainy day at Disney beats a day at work any day. Mark says high heat index over 105, 110 in September. Yeah. August, September in Orlando don't have any worry about the hurricanes. It's the heat. Yeah. Yeah. We have been there and it's been decent as far as crowd level because September, everybody's back in school by September because you have the Northeast that goes back right around Labor Day. So typically right after Labor Day, it does start to slow down. It's the busiest park in the world. It's not going to be that slow. But, just be prepared. Yeah, swimming through Fantasyland. Excuse me, where in Fantasyland? Because I always think of two things when I think about rain at Disney. Tomorrowland, they might as well call it Lake Tomorrowland because it just becomes an absolute lake back there. And then the last time we got caught in the rain, I think Dianca was there. The three of us were there, Nick and Christina, Corey and his family. And we had just come out of PhilharMagic and got stuck just waiting there in the rain. And then finally we just decided to go. We had raincoats, we had ponchos, we had jackets, we had umbrellas. And once it started to lighten up, we went to our next attraction. The good thing is Magic has a lot of attractions. It has the most attractions, although it's the smallest park, it has the most attractions. And they're also more, they're located closer to each other than a lot of the other parks. Like Epcot, you're going to be doing a lot of walking. Hollywood is very disjointed. So Magic is probably the best park to be at for a rainy day. I also hear that right after the rain is the best time to go on the safari because all the animals come back out. So just keep that in mind. Tony, good to see you. What are some perks for annual pass holders? Husband wants to get them, and I want to make sure he knows what all we can get as annual pass holders. So, and those of you that were annual pass holders or are annual pass holders can certainly add to this because I'm sure I'm not going to hit your favorites or many of them. For me, the biggest perk is being able to slow down, right? When we became annual pass holders, we had done 2 trips as a family before we became annual pass holders. And that weekend or that week, whatever it is, you're trying to hit everything that you can because you don't know when you're going to get back. You are there for that once a year trip, once every 5-year trip, whatever it is. And so you're trying to hit every single attraction that you can. As an annual pass holder, the first thing that I did was start to really slow down and kind of explore. I remember Catherine and I went on a adult-only trip. It was just the 2 of us. Finley stayed with my mom, Purple Pleasure. And at that trip, we were able to really just take our time, and I think it was our second trip as annual pass holders, and really just explore. We did a lot of attractions that we hadn't done before. We just slowed down. So I think that for me, that's the biggest perk. Now, aside from that, there are the actual tangible ones, free parking, like David mentioned. So that's a big one because that parking just went up. I think last year it went up again. So free parking. Normally you'll get discounts for the resorts, and it can be up to 40%. The one for this summer is 40% for annual pass holders. Today they just announced VI pass holder days will be coming back, and that is May 1st through July 31st. So those are VI pass holder days, and those typically what you're going to get with that is a magnet. They've already announced a magnet. Then normally there's an additional perk for, or additional discount for merch and dining, sit-down dining. And you get the lounge. Typically, there's a lounge that they introduced. The last one was in Morocco. Honestly, the lounge is nothing. You might get some tea and, I don't know, pretzel M&Ms, M&M pretzel M&Ms, or something like that. So the lounge is not really, I wouldn't take advantage of that, but the additional merch discount for sure. The dining discount was great. It was 40% off. We got to eat at Whispering Canyon for 40% off. So when they announce that, we'll be talking about it on the show. I think that those are some really big perks there. And as an out-of-state pass holder, obviously we have to buy the top tier. We can't buy the other ones. Those are just for Florida residents. So we have to buy the Incredipass, which is, I don't remember what it is now, $1,400 or something like that. Oh, there's another perk, PhotoPass. PhotoPass for the year is like $110. Whereas if you are a day ticket holder, it's like $200 and change for your 4-day ticket or 7-day ticket, whatever you end up buying. So big perk for PhotoPass. So there's certainly some good stuff there. We have to buy the highest priced one. But normally, if you do the math, even before you count the discounts, if you go 8 days a year, 9 days a year, pays for itself. So just keep that in mind. I don't know. I haven't done the math for Disneyland to know how it works out there. So speaking of annual pass holder, has anyone had issues with their pass holder magnet falling off of their car? I hate to think someone stole it off my car, but it's still a possibility, sadly. Yes, that is a possibility. And that's why mine are right here on my fridge in the studio. Finley's are on the fridge in the kitchen, and Catherine takes hers to work and puts them on her cubicle. Do not put your pass holder magnets on your car. They don't belong on your car. They will fade terribly because typically it's the people that live in Florida that do that. They can get stolen. I've heard many stories of that. And it will ruin your paint because the magnet is going to start sticking to the paint. Don't do it. Don't do it. Put it in your house. It'll be safe there. There's Sharon. Pass holder magnets on a fridge. Yeah, and staying there, right? I've never had anybody steal it off my fridge. Yeah. Can you bring your own food and drinks into the park? If you're not supposed to, do people do it anyway? It's not what you, here's what you can't bring as far as food and drinks. You can't bring loose ice. All right. So you can't bring a cooler that just has a lot of ice in it. You could bring ice packs. You can bring ice if it's in a Ziploc bag. You can bring ice if you're carrying one of your, Tervis, or I've just forgot all the names of those cups. Your Stanley, mug and all that kind of stuff. You can certainly bring those. They can have ice in it. You can't bring alcohol, and you can't bring glass. Other than that, bring lunch, bring snacks, bring drinks. You can bring canned drinks. Bring water bottles. A lot of people will take water bottles, the plastic water bottles, like these, and they'll freeze these and then use these as ice to keep everything else cold. So there's certainly ways that you can do that. And the park, it's written in the park rules as what you can and cannot bring. And food and drink is allowed, just cannot bring alcohol and loose ice and no glass. But you can bring plastic and you can bring aluminum cans. Yeah. Bring bring plastic straws. Yeah. we were in Epcot this last trip, and I think it was, Catherine can correct me. I think it was Epcot, and Joffrey's has the bamboo straws. So I think they're starting to make their way through the parks, but they were supposed to be switching to bamboo instead of the wonderful paper straws. Paper. Let's not do paper. Catherine says, I once saw someone walking around Epcot eating spaghetti out of Tupperware. Yeah, I remember that day. Yeah. So we'll do that. I'll bring up some questions that folks have, and we will answer them, because I'm sure it will help some of you. It'll help some viewers watching after we're live. I think that, a lot of what we're trying to do here is help people get to the parks, help people figure out how to afford the parks, because everybody thinks you got to go and spend $20,000 for 3 people for 4 days at the park. You don't. Don't go stay in the Polynesian bungalows. Don't do the VIP tours. You can enjoy the park without spending so much money. Yeah, she said she didn't recall, but they are rolling out the bamboo straws. So the last trip, now we're annual pass holders, so we don't have to buy tickets. But the last trip where the 3 of us went, we spent less than $1,000 for 3 days. 4 nights, 3 days, whatever it was. So just, if you have questions, I'm not a travel agent yet. But I love to help people enjoy the parks, get to the parks as much as they can, because I think it's a great place to be. So, and I wasn't going to do an off the rails segment tonight, but I will talk really quickly about I think as we in the Disney Streamer Network have started to push more of the vertical stream. So for example, right now we are on Park Bros horizontal and vertical, or wide and tall, however you want to call it. And I can see that there's, it's a split audience most of the time, and that's okay. I'm sorry, I was just reading Tara's comment. Hi, Tara, good to see you. And Disney is great at dealing with any of those issues at the park. Sometimes it can be a little bit of overstimulus, but there are ways to deal with that in the parks as well. There's plenty of quiet areas for people to get away. The crowds aren't everywhere. There are pockets where it is very, very quiet. I've actually taken Zoom calls in the park. I've actually worked in the park in Magic Kingdom. So there are ways to deal with that stuff. So you may see trolls in a lot of the streamers. I know Sean gets them. I've gotten them when I'm live in the parks and on location. I know that Theme Park Giant gets them. He was at SeaWorld yesterday, so he got a lot of them there. So, my way of dealing with that is bury the chat. You just bury the chat, right? Let the moderators do what they do. The host should continue to bring the content to the folks that are watching. The trolls are there just to be trolls. They're not the important ones. The folks that are there watching, the folks that are Disney lovers, the folks that want to see the parks or whatever you're streaming, that's the important person. So focus on that and not the trolls. So if you're a moderator, help bury the chat is what I would say. start having other conversations with people, welcoming everybody that's coming in. Make that person, because the troll they're going to feel ostracized and they're going to leave. So just think about that. All right, so let's talk about, since we're talking about the streamers that we have out there, we'll do an update on our friends. Sharon says some days mods work harder than others. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's like, I know the other night, Living in Diz, I produced on Living in Diz, and I was seeing a lot of trolls come in. Now, I believe that it was because we had a lot more viewers on the vertical, which tend to bring in more trolls. So I think that was why. So here's your updated subscriber count. You have Resort TV 1 leading the way. It's 214,000. Park Pass TV at over 75,000. Pete McDevitt's hit the 54,000 mark. Barry Place 28 is behind him, just behind him at 53.1. And it looks like Barry's probably going to overtake Pete McDevitt here pretty soon. Ear to Ear Magic staying steady at 37.8. Living in Diz at 19.5. Theme Park Giant just continuing to kill it. He's at 13.8 now and probably going to be passing Myers and the Mouse tomorrow. Probably. So, mark my words, Theme Park Giant's in 10th place right now. By the end of this year, I think he's going to be at least in 6th, if not 5th. Just continuing to be steady, out there every day, delivering great edutainment, as I call it. Adventures by Carnate 11.5. Heis, who does piano from the Netherlands just about every weekend. He's celebrating the channel's birthday this coming weekend, so make sure to tune in for that. 10.7. We are at 10.1 on the Park Bros channel. Sean, Disney with Sean show, another one who's steady out there every day. 212 days or so. Yep. 212 days so far in a row streaming. And so he started with 693 subscribers when he joined the network. He's now at 8,700. Theme Park Casual, Danny out there with 8.2. Jared Journey, 786. Donnie Land at 7.2. Score Jason, 6.1. He's not been streaming as much lately. He's got a new job, and so that's been taking a lot of his time, but he's working on his schedule, starting to get out there more, hopefully, very soon. Cruise and Theme Park Guide, Sierra, who's in here earlier at 4.65. She's been trying to get out to the parks more and deliver more content, so that's been great. One of our newest channels, Hang with Mark, at 3.87. Theme Parks Assemble at 3.86. Magical Horizons, who had a Disney Springs stream recently, 3.6. Scooter Adventures, who I had the pleasure of having on our show this week, at 3.42. Amusement Park Pirates out there in Disneyland at 3.22. Lily's Life at 2.32. Magic Adventures, 2.2. So you've got some creators that are just continuing to roll. You have Murray Adventures, who's been streaming at Disney World the past couple weeks. That's 600. Just at that 600 mark. Tony, who's in here, 425 subscribers. Picked up some subscribers over the week. Pile Adventures, who is in here, 432. Monk's Disney Strolls, one of our newest channels, at 184. And the Disney Streamer Network at 106. And you see Wilson's in the World with 20 subscribers there. They haven't done a park live stream at all. And so they are going to be getting out there pretty soon. So excited to see what they deliver when they hit the parks. For the Disney Streamer Network, we've got 106 subscribers on our YouTube channel, 284 as following us on Facebook, 166 on Instagram, 78 on TikTok, and 44 on Threads. So if you're on any of those platforms, make sure to join us. We would love to have you follow us, trying to become the news organization that you can count on. So we didn't deliver any April Fool's news yesterday. We don't deal in rumors. We don't deal in clickbait. We just want to give you the actual news that you can count on. So just consider following us on any of those platforms. If you're on those, we would love to have you and continue to grow. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to, let me just check and make sure that David is still live. And then I will send you off to It's Me, David T. Yes, he is still live. So I'm going to send you over there now. You can check out the rest of Dancing with Mickey and Friends, Disney on Ice with It's Me, David T. If you have comments, please make sure to leave them for me. If you have annual pass holder perks, questions that you want to ask, just throw them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. We love doing that. So today is Thursday. I will be live producing for Living in Diz on Saturday. We'll have the podcast on Tuesday. And then Thursday, we will have the next Monorail Report. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you, whether you watch live or whether you watch a replay, means the world to us. Hey, Christy's here, one of our friends from Disneyland. Make sure to check her out when she streams over there. I was just going to say I didn't see my Streamlabs link pop up, but it did pop up for you. Very good. All right, folks, it's been great. Thank you all. Have a great evening. Go out there and make somebody smile. We'll see you later.
This monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.